Well, hey, friends, it's Teresa Crane with Jeremiah Dreams. How are you guys tonight? Took me just a minute to get everything set up again from having taken it all down to go visit my daughter for a few days. And so, once you find that sweet spot, and if you ever move it, it's hard to get that sweet spot back. So, I've been struggling with some lighting, some shadows, and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, I am so excited to be back with you guys tonight. I think often about going live on the weekends, and I think this weekend I'm going to do it, and then something will happen, and it just doesn't come together. And I want to get to that point, but life is just fast and furious sometimes. So anyway, but I'm here now. Hey, Teresa, how are you? How's it going? I see we have three sets of eyes joining. As you join, if you're new to me, give StreamYard permission to display your name so that we can have a conversation back and forth. But this will be pretty fun, pretty fun. Just trying to think about where to start. First of all, I'm super excited tonight for the first time. I'm on YouTube at the same time that I'm on Facebook. Oh, Janet, I missed you guys too. I missed you guys too. Teresa knows the drill there, telling me where you're watching from. That's exactly right. And listen, I have something I want to give you guys, um, or at least give one person anyway. And I have not forgotten that I need to do that. I'm just running a little bit behind with all the things that have to be done. Yeah, I'm really excited. It's my first time to be on YouTube. Now I have a YouTube channel. There's not a lot on there, um, but I set one up. I don't know some time ago, but I just don't do a lot with it. And I just thought it's time. It's time because I can connect Streamyard with Facebook and YouTube, so that gives me another avenue for sharing what God has given me through art and such. Um, what was I going to say? Something else I was going to say. So tomorrow night. I want to present someone with a special treat from me. So if you guys will join me tomorrow evening, it may be closer to 8 o'clock tomorrow night. I have a 5:30 meeting, and so I will just have to keep you posted. But I would like to begin coming on at 7:30. I think that would be a little easier for some, just because by the time we paint for a little while, it gets a little late, and I get that very much because I feel it myself. So. I want to say hello to everyone on Facebook. Hello to everyone on YouTube if you're catching me there. And I'm so excited to be branching out into that stream also. So, listen, I am ready to start a new series. And I've kind of touched on it before, I've kind of mentioned it before. But tonight's the night that we're going to start it. And I have no idea where this is going to take me. I'm just going to dive in and see what happens. That's all I know to do. Just in case you're just now joining, I see there's a few more sets of eyes. Please grant StreamYard permission to display your name so that I know that you're watching. I know who you are. Otherwise, it'll just say Facebook user or YouTube viewer or something like that. So I would love to know who you are, where you're watching from, and all those fun things. Okay, so let me share my screen, and hopefully I've got this set up well enough. But here's the trick, and you're going to see why in just a minute. So tonight I want to start a series on chapels, and I've printed out some images. I went to royalty free searches and found these images, and um, I'm just going to use these as resources just to get some ideas, but I'm going to make my own. These are just reference points, okay? This is not, I'm not going to copy, but it's good to know how does something look. But this is the thing with my stuff, I like for it to tell a story. Hey, Mom, how are you? I'm glad you're here. Um, so tonight I want to develop a story with the chapel being the center, but there's going to be an underlying story there too. So here's the other thing. This is going to be on a much larger canvas. And so I will be pulling the camera up. I know I started kind of close, but it's going to be a tight fit on my table. But this is where we're going to start anyway, because I wanted to have enough room to do the things I wanted to do. So that's why we're starting with a little bit larger canvas. So let me unshare my screen for just a minute so that I can make this adjustment and get you guys a little better view of everything that's going on. And because this is going to be kind of a big project, but I wanted to make this adjustment and not make anybody seasick in the process. So I'm going to share my camera again here in just a second and get this lined up a little bit better. So hopefully this will give you the majority of the canvas. The first thing I want to do is think about what is my scene, and there's a little bit of fuss right there. I can't. It's really stuck on there. This is a brand new canvas. I just took all the cellophane off of it right before I came live. So I'm really thinking. I know I've done one springtime chapel, but I want this to be part of this series, and so I'm thinking I want to do another spring chapel and kind of do it a little bit different than the last one I did. Maybe even have the chapel in a different position. I'm not sure. I'm the painter that I just have to start painting and just see where the paint takes me, because I'm just not sure what's going to take place. So that's my game plan. I think I should probably just start with putting a good coat on this. I know I've taught you all about that before, so I'm just going to put a good base coat on here. I really need a little bit wider brush. Let's see what I have back here. I thought about that and then I didn't grab it. So I've got one. And this is just a cheap chippy kind of brush that you hear a lot of people talk about. And this is strictly just for the purpose of putting down and coating this canvas so that the paint will do well. And I'm just going to put just a little bit of a coat on here. And y'all, I'm going to have to move this canvas around because it is so large. But I think in the end, I'm going to really enjoy having this size. This is kind of one of the largest things I've done. But I've got several of these canvases. And they've just been sitting on the shelf. Well, hi, Erin. They've just been sitting on the shelf, just waiting for me to say, okay, it's time to start doing something with you. So I'm just putting on a good base so that when I start adding the other colors of paint, those colors will not soak into the canvas. Watch me get my sleeve all in this too. And I want to be sure and get my sides, because I always try to paint around there. And these are a little thinner than the other stretched canvas things that I've used before. This is probably about a 1/2 inch thick, where most of the time they're an inch. So I'm just going to do this bottom half. Make sure I've got my sides. Okay, I'm going to turn it around and do the other half. Y'all, it's big. It is big. So I see several sets of eyes out there. Let me know you're here. Say hello. Give StreamYard permission to display your name so that I know who's watching with me and joining me. I would love to meet you. Don't be shy. We're all friends here. So have you guys had a good day today? Hope so. Hi, Teresa. Thank you, Mom. So just a little side note here. So Facebook has changed things a lot, and we've talked about that before. But I think there's been another change, and you're not supposed to use any of the S words to do the things that we ask you to do with us. So I'll just say this also. For a while now, and I haven't known why, right now, my Facebook page is restricted from even running ads, and I don't know why. So I've sent in the question, and I'm not too worried about it, because if I can't ever run ads with Facebook, that's fine. I'm not too worried about that, but that's just how particular they are about any of the things that we do, which is really tough. I get it. I get it that they're trying to protect the public, and I 100% get that, but it makes it super hard because the rules are so tight. So, we can't use any of the S words to do any of the S things, and that's just how it is. So, I've been watching some other creatives to see how they kind of take care of doing the things that we like to do for our viewers. Um, that's the thing that I don't understand. It's not that we're trying to take advantage of anyone. We just want to love on the people who um, show up for us, but they're making it super hard, and I don't have an answer yet. So to be continued. It's just a tough world, and it's getting so difficult. I don't know. I have no answers. So that I'm just going to have to kind of continue to seek. Just so y'all know, I do pay to be in coaching groups that teach how to work with social media and to do things the right way. And even with those things in place, you miss it. I mean, we're just human beings. So all I can do is the best I can. That's just a little side note. Oh, Teresa, thank you, girl. I really appreciate you saying that, because I know what it looks like for me, but I never really know for sure what it looks like for you guys. So the feedback is so valuable to me, and I just greatly, greatly appreciate that. And so I'm just going to dry this a little bit. But it's funny. So I have where you can order prints in my Etsy shop, and several people have purchased prints of my paintings, and right now the Springtime Chapel is in the running. I really thought Bunny Shelter would just go berserk, but it's and it has sold, but Springtime Chapel has been more popular, which was really surprising. I got to get back over here. I've gotten out of the view. Sorry. Um, so that was an indication to me that that's something that you all want to see. So I thought, well, let's just start this series, this chapel series, and see what happens. Now I want to get this good and dry because I don't want white paint on them. So let me turn this around and work on the other half, and that might help. Just trying so hard not to get paint all over myself. Well, hi, Tracy. How are you, girlfriend? My friend Tracy, another Kentucky creator. Y'all gonna have paint all over me. So, what? Janet, Janet says, so I guess I'll have to drive all the way wherever. That's so funny, girl. So funny. So I saw this one creative that is using uh, type the word foxtrot, and I thought, that's pretty clever. I just got to figure out what my word is. I don't know. When she said that, I thought of Alpha Tango Foxtrot or something like that. You hear all these acronyms. Getting this nice and dry so that I can get going. Now, listen, it's also March, and that means at the end of this month, my Paint and Create Club. No, it's not a club. Well, I guess it is in one sense of the word. But my Paint and Create group is going to open up again. So be thinking about that if you'd like to come in with some of us that are painting. And the kits for this month just went in the mail today. So those of you that are in my Paint and Create group, you're going to be receiving those very soon. And in that group, I teach you how to paint. I teach you my tips and tricks. And that is going to be opening again. So I'll be sharing that information with you. Sorry that took so long, but that just took a while to dry. Sorry about that. And it's still a little bit wet, but maybe we just let it sit here for a minute. I need more paper towel. I'm trying not to get my sleeve up. Why did I wear this top? I wore it to work today, and I thought, oh, I'll just stay dressed up. Well, that's all well and good, except my sleeves are kind of like flowy. And so I'm really thinking about this scene. I'm thinking about first the landscape is something that we need to get in here. Let me set this big old brush. It's a pretty good size brush. Let me just set it down on the floor. Let's do it that way. And that way I can clean it afterwards. My necklace. Oh, y'all, it's so hard being a girl. How's Emma doing? She is, Janet, because it's cute. Emma is doing as well as can be expected. It's a tough time. It's a tough time. So please keep her in prayer. But she's doing just as well as can be expected under the circumstances. So I texted with her a little bit today, and just a tough time. So she really, really needs your prayers. Let me grab a drink. But I will tell you, hi, Rena. I will tell you that I shared with her that you guys have asked about her and that you guys are praying for her, and it so touched her. She started to cry when she knew that you guys had asked about her. So she so much appreciates it. Hi, Miss Janice. How are you, lady? She appreciates you thinking of her and keeping her in prayer. She certainly needs a whole lot of them. But so I think I just got to sit here and look at this canvas just for a minute while it's finishing up drying. I always think about rolling hills when I think about springtime and all the things that go. And then I want to think about, where is my chapel going to sit? And I'm kind of leaning toward putting the chapel on this side. See, y'all, I've already got paint all over me. Putting the chapel in this section. And there's something, I can't shake this. I kept thinking about, when I was thinking about how to do this chapel, I kept thinking about Mother's Day and how to give it a Mother's Day spin. So I'm just thinking, and I can't shake the images in my mind of the church that I grew up in, and all the pictures I've seen through the years of how that little church looked. It's a big church now, but back in the day when I was going there, it was very small. I think about country churches. Well, I think I shared, just in case for those of you that are just joining, here's the images. I'll turn this around so you can see a little bit better. Here's the images of these are royalty-free images I found online. And there's elements in each of these that really appealed to me. Now, this one is not a live image, but I pulled this one because it gave me some structural guidance on how the chapel's constructed, built, the angles, the shadows, that kind of thing. I love this because the natural wood look of this one, and I love that cross window at the top. Probably can't see that. Let me hold it a little closer. Isn't that kind of cool? And then I love this one because it's just kind of out in the middle of nowhere. And I love the dark contrast with the white windows and the white door. So I see various things about this that I love, but I've got to develop the story here. And Mother's Day to me is somehow part of that story. And I don't know how it's all going to turn out, but let's just dive in. That's all I know to do. So I'm going to pull some of my favorite greens because I think that we need some greens. And this color, and let me see if I can do this. Maybe there's enough of this that's dry that I can just set this right here so you can kind of see the colors I'm pulling. But this is one of my favorite shades. It's called Citrus. It's just a nice bright green. And it's not too dark. It's just a really good springtime color. And then I like Let's see, what is this one right here? I kind of like this one. It's a spring green, so that will be perfect. So let's get some of that. Isn't that pretty? I love those two shades. I'm going to hold this up closer so you can see. Look how pretty those colors are. I just love them. Okay, I do want to add in some brown, and nothing super dark. This is Warm Brown. I've used that one quite a bit. It's a really good go-to in brown. Of course, I've always got to get my really light brown, the mocha or khaki or desert sand color that I use just for kind of sketching and figuring out what goes where. I probably need to go ahead with my basic black and white because you know me. Hey, Rhonda, how's it going, girl? I'm glad you're here. Whoops. Got an air pocket in there. And I always try to keep my bottles like this on the table so that any air inside will go to the back end of the bottle and my paint will be right at the beginning. But sometimes things still happen. So it is what it is. Okay. So I'm going to use kind of a wider flat brush. Let's see, maybe if I do it like this, you can see a little bit better. Thank you, Miss Rhonda. And this is going to help me kind of lay this out. This is when I always get a little bit nervous. I'm like, I don't really know what I'm doing here. So maybe if I just take some of this, let me get some water on my brush. Let me just thin down some of this light brown. I'm just going to do some sketching to kind of figure out what I want to go where. I just love rolling hills. So I'm just going to kind of have this going through here. I just love them. I don't know why. Let's see, what would it be if we kind of put the chapel maybe right in through here. I'm just going to do something very, very rough here, you guys. Okay. This is just for placement. This is not how it's going to be. It's just to get an idea of what is where. Something like that. We're going to be covering all this up. You know, I'm kind of feeling another layer of Rolling Hill in behind this. I think that would be interesting. And maybe even one more, just like that. We may even have a little church sign in this one. I don't know where I want it yet. I gotta figure that out. Let's just see how the rest of this goes. We'll have some trees. And I'm just gonna kind of do this through here. Probably partial tree right here. And we'll probably have a path. I always like paths. I don't know what it's going to look like, but I think paths just say something. I think that's why I like to include them because it's a leading into the story kind of thing. I just like them. Okay, maybe this is a really good place to start. So let's just start there and see what happens. Hi, Christine. How's it going? We are doing a big canvas. I think this is a 16 by 20 size. So getting this to where y'all can see all the things might be quite interesting. All right. So I think one of the first things I'm going to do is lay in the heels. I'm going to take this spring green. I'm going to add just a touch, thin this down, just a touch of black over here to get a little darker shade. Let me put this where you can see better. I want to be so careful about how much black I use. But I just want it to be darker. And let's just kind of lay this one in. And tonight's going to be really the beginning of this, so it's going to be a lot of blocking, and all the details come later after you kind of lay in the structure of it. Okay, so now that that's there, I'm going to go ahead and pick up some of this True Citrus and lay it on top of it because, can y'all see? This is going to be the challenge. Let me see if I can angle just a little bit more. Because as I lay in this True Spring Green, it's going to blend with the color that's already there because everything's so wet, and that's good. That's what I want. Because I want it darker, but I don't want it drab. I'm going to get some of these outside lines crisper. See how this feels. And I like having varied colors. I don't want it one solid color. I want it varied. So I'm using that same green to kind of highlight the top of the heel. Some of the peak points. But we've got that good dark underneath. Let me get some water and do a little bit of blending here. So has everybody had a good day? Girl, and this is a 16 by 20. I decided to pull one of them out. That just gave me a little more room to do this work. I'm starting this chapel series. I don't know how many will be in it. I have no, it's kind of like one of those things it's done when it's done kind of thing. I'm so glad you're here, Miss Ann. Did you have a good day today? Okay, so I've got that one in there. Now I'm going to go a little bit lighter with this next heel. And right now it's going to feel a little bit sloppy, I guess, until we get everything really good and in place. And I'm going to bleed over where I want that chapel to be. Now I picked up a little bit of the darker. And I'm wanting to make sure that's a good blend right there. Okay, I need to come over to this other side. Y'all, I almost don't have enough room on my table. This is kind of tricksy. And kind of just outline this. I'm sure I'm covering up that lighter brown color. And I want to make sure this is kind of in line with this downslope too. Make sure I'm getting a good base in there that's going to cover up where I kind of thought the chapel would be. Paint is a little bit thick. Just get it on the edges over here while I'm here with the same color. Okay, now I need to add some variation. I think I'm going to pick up some of this citrus green and mix in there and give a little bit of interest there. I'm making sure my crests are highlighted. Oh, let's just throw a little bit of darker in there too, and just for kicks and giggles, and see what we get as it blends into it. See what kind of interest we get there. And then just split it all out, smooth it out. Okay. All right. My day was good. So, Linda, yes, it is a lot of blending. Linda, my new project is I'm starting the chapel series. This is the beginning of the chapel series I've kind of mentioned before. So this is a really big canvas. This is a 16 by 20, but I thought it'd be kind of cool to have plenty of room to work with. So that's it. That's what we're doing. Um, Now I need to kind of put in some background through here, and actually, let me see what happens. We'll see what happens when I mix a little bit of brown with this green. What do we get? Just curious. Because I don't think these hills are totally green. I think there's some brown mixed in. So I'm trying to come up with several colors that would be of interest. So I want to get those brown tones going in there. Let's just put it on there and see what happens. All right. Because I definitely need, and then when we start shadowing, that's going to help a lot with this too. Everything's drying out because it's such a bigger area. I'm just thinking, y'all. That's why I got quiet. I'm thinking. Hi, Judy. How are you? So this may change some too as I go along and begin to feel how this will all unfold. So this is just some good basing in right now. Trying to get a good blend. Trying to really be careful about the strokes. Okay. See if I can turn this around where you can kind of see what's a happening. Just different layers, different shades. Need some more water. Let's mix some of this other color in here. Let's just see what we get. Just in the mixing mood tonight. I'm going to make a great big mess on my little palette that I can just throw away when I'm kind of done messing. Let's just see what happens when we come back here. That's kind of a neat color. All right. Mix in some brighter. Because, you know, things are never just one color. There's always many shades. Y'all are probably thinking that it looks like a big, big mess. Well, it does look like that right now. But hopefully it's going to look much better as we go along. You're probably sitting there thinking, I don't know about this. Yeah, I don't either. We'll see what happens. We just keep working it. So did anybody do anything fun today? Oh, let's just mix some white in there. Why not? Let's just make one big mess with this palette. Let's just see. Right now I'm feeling like a kindergartner with just throwing down paint. Got quite a bit of white in there just to add some different variation. And I may have to really let this dry well before I can go to the next step with it all. Just working on my edge here. I know you probably can't see exactly what I'm doing, but just getting this edge done. Whoops, I tripped. One of these days I'm going to get wise and start wearing an apron. So I bought my granddaughter, she's 3, and I bought her some paints for Christmas. Well, I bought her a little tunic or, apron to wear when she's painting. Now, why in the world wouldn't Mimi have one too? That makes no sense. Glob right there I need to get off so it doesn't dry in there. There's one right there too. Okay, we got a nice variation of color going on here. I don't know if I can pick this up so that you can kind of see from a different perspective. Let me see if I can grab it from the white side of things. Let me just kind of work it this way. So you can kind of see the varied colors that we're trying to lay in. I'll tell you what I could do while I'm at this point is go ahead and turn it and lay in the sky. May have to do a little bit of rearranging on my table here so I have a little more room. And let me wash my brush off. So I might get another little palette thing too, because that one's pretty full with the greens and browns. Okay. So let's look at doing some sky stuff. Looks like green hills. Yes. Grass is hard to do. Oh, and you've been doing some crafting too. I was going from the bottom up. I should have started down. Sorry. Um, what kind of crafting you been doing today, Rena? Tell me. So yes, Linda, I'm glad to know that it looks like Green Hills. That's what I was going for, and I appreciate you letting me know that I did achieve that because y'all, sometimes what's in my brain and what's on the canvas are two different things. Um, let's get some blue. This is a really pretty blue. It's called a bright blue. And it is very bright, but we can tone it down. I'm going to also pull in some parrot blue. Had some little cremies there. Get those off. Of course I need my white. And I'm not going to worry about any black for this. I tell you what would be good is some gray. I've got a very soft gray. It's actually called pale gray, and that would be a really good color to do some blending with too. Kind of give it a little bit of that tone. So let's see what we can do with this. So let me start with the darker color. Oh, got something right there. Hang on. Okay. And I've got this pretty wet that I can just lay it in and hopefully be able to do some additional blending with it. Working this into the pores of the canvas. I love bright blue skies, but I like to have the varied colors also. And these will change too as we go along and add detail and add clouds and things such as that. I'm going to go ahead and mix in some white into this while everything is nice and wet. Get a good blend of that going on. Once again, y'all are going to probably think that's a mess. Sometimes you just got to trust the process. Y'all may not be able to say all this. I'm sorry, I can't seem to get the. Let me try this. Maybe that'll help. Wood hearts with solo flowers with a paper. Ooh, that sounds really pretty. Okay. Need to get some more water going here. Get some water on this canvas because the paint is drying and it just feels really thick because my brush doesn't want to glide, and I'm not quite ready for it to feel like that. So I just added water. I'm going to use this lighter blue next. It's kind of a grayish blue. It almost looks like a denim, doesn't it? Go ahead and mix some white in there too while I'm here, while it's still nice and wet. Get a good blend. Throw some more white in there. I was looking to see if y'all have said anything else. All right, I'm going to try to get up close to this landscape, but I want it a lot lighter because as the sky meet, I probably got my thing right in y'all's way. I'm so sorry. As the sky meets the earth, it tends to become more. It tends to become lighter. Let's see a little something here I want to take care of real quick. I had just a little bit of blue. This is such a large canvas that I had a little drip. See if I can work it out. It'll probably eventually get covered up anyway. That'll be all right. That will be all right. I've got some gray mixed in this too. Kind of smoothing out the ridges that are created with the paint. Boy, that's a nice variation of color, isn't it? Just add some water just to kind of do the blending. And there's a little clump of something right there. I want to get that off. Kind of get all this smoothed and blended well and prettified. And add a little bit of lighter up here in this really dark part so it's just not so abrasive. And then we'll be going and adding in clouds and things of that nature. But I really feel like this is going to have to dry really well before I go very much further, because I have laid a lot of paint on this. So I may just let this be as far as we go tonight, because I feel like it's really got to dry well and set before I can begin any other details. But see if I can turn it around so y'all can kind of see where we are. Let's see if I can do it like that. There's a lot of, see, it's really wet. There's a lot of reflection there. But even the greens, and y'all, in person, it just looks so different. Because I'm looking at the camera and this dark green looks really dark, but it's not when I look at it. Some of this blue kind of splattered right there, and I'm just going to pick that up, but it'll get covered up eventually. Clean up this little drip. But yes, that's a very pretty sky, I think. I wonder if I can angle it up and get some of that glare off. Let me try to do this. So this is kind of where we are. Okay. So let's just see what happens. It'll be a spring something, but thank you, Linda. I do too. I don't like for anything to be flat. You know me. I want to see that variation. Oh, me too, girl. Thank you, Anne. I think it turned out pretty cool. It's just a lot of throwing down paint and blending with water, and I got creative here in the grass and in the hills with just mixing the colors up and just saying, what color do I get with it? Oh, thank you, Janet. Beautiful sky and the green grass of home. I tell you, I love hills. I love hills. I love mountains. Um, and we just don't have that too much where I live, but it's always great to vacation there. But I think I'm just going to need to let this kind of cure overnight, and then we can start back with some of the details tomorrow. But anyway, thank you guys for being with me. Those of you catching me on YouTube, thank you. Let me get back over here, center of the camera. All the things. I hope you've enjoyed this. I think this is going to be a really fun series to start with. Thank you, Miss Rena. Thank you. So tomorrow night, I'm going to try to be back here at 7:30. Could be a little bit later because of my 5:30 meeting, but I'll be on here at some point tomorrow night. Okay. All right, y'all. Y'all get some good rest. I will see y'all tomorrow. Okay. Have a wonderful day tomorrow. I love each and every one of you and so appreciate you spending time with me. So, y'all have a great evening and I'll catch you tomorrow. Good night.